Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, out chasing some waterfalls, but today we're going to be talking about new updates coming to the game, what devs have said, what they have also leaked, and what could be in the future content. We're going to go over all of that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and it is Tuesday, which means that it might finally be the day that we get a patch fix for a huge list of issues. As you might have noticed, the game has been in a pretty tough state over the last weekend. There has even been a mega thread thrown up on, well, Reddit, where a poster actually had their post taken down, but then went ahead and re-put it up with the list of the issues going on. There's stuff with bot front has consistent audio issues, consistent crashing with the war striders present, bugs have crackling audio on Gloom planets, enemies, notably illuminate and bugs, phase through walls, frames are always dipping, audio cuts out on missions both with and without the war strider present, bots are missing their white eye colors for Hulk, Devastators, and Troopers alike. I don't think that's a big deal, but anyways, when you host and complete a mission, not extracting, just completing the objective, and it crashes, the mission to be listed as complete on the galactic map, but no medals received for that specific mission. And when using a hover pack, sometimes the player will appear having the same leg animations as they otherwise would when hovering in the air, and bugs seem to have frame drops, specifically the spore burst train. A lot of those aren't a huge deal, like the whites in the eyes, like I said, but the ones where it crashes the game or the frames per second dipping can be a huge issue, and we are waiting patiently for Arrowhead to fix a lot of these issues. I really hope it doesn't devolve into another 60-day patch, but we're going to go over what the devs have actually been talking about in terms of what they've been working on and what they can share with us, so let's dive into that. There's a lot of stuff that the Arrowhead team has been working on that did not make it into the cut of this game. It will either not be coming at all, or it might be coming in a future update, and we actually got some looks at it, well, thanks to the Arrowhead team themselves. This isn't leaked or data mined. They actually went ahead and showed the concept art of a lot of stuff that they're working on up on their official art station. They have really cool stuff, and it's not just new content, it's also new skins. There's this really cool samurai armor that just didn't make the cut into the game, at least not yet, and it really throws it back to Halo 3 Hayabusa armor for me. I would love to see this come into the game. It's one of the cooler ones they've done. I imagine thematically they're trying to aim for something with it in the near future. That being said, not everything is cut, because we also saw a barrier wall that they went ahead and uploaded. This is by Lucas Orstrom, one of the devs. One variant of this actually came into the game, and that's the one with the grenade launcher, but there is another one, that actually has a machine gun on it. And we've seen this in an unreleased stratagem leak, so we do know that this was very much worked on. There's concept art and how it would function right there, where it would land, fold out, but it could also go in different patterns. It comes with the mounted turret and just hasn't found a place yet to go. Now that we have jetpack Hulks flying around as well for the automatons and a bunch of new enemy variants there, and the whole campaign with Cyber Sand coming in the near future, there was also some cool stuff in regards to, well, them. Right here, completely 3D'd and modeled, where the automaton has a light trooper that looks much more human-like. This could be an upcoming enemy type coming in the near future, especially after we saw the jetpack ones and more additions being added, but as of right now, it just didn't make the cut. That being said, they showed us something very, very cool, also by Lucas Orstrom, and it shows what seems to be an automaton with a head but a brain case. This means that either we are going to go ahead and get more cyborgs on the automaton side, or a brand new side faction that features them as well, as there has been leaks and information about that. I actually think this looks really cool, and would love to see how this enemy actually comes into play in the future if they end up making it in. Also by Lucas, we got to see the Tesla towers. Now obviously that did actually make it into the game, but right next to it is also his design for this Super Earth conscript. We've seen this also in a ton of leaks and data mines, and it's supposed to be some kind of vendor in the near future, but it's nice to confirm that Arrowhead themselves indeed were working on it, and the voice lines that were leaked for it were actually in the game. I'll go ahead and actually at the end of this video play the voice AI lines. It's voiced by an AI right now, but all the verbiage is actually in the game file, so thanks to Ironside who put it together. One thing that I thought was really interesting is, well, they had a different version of the galaxy map, as you can see right here, and the planets are a little bit more detailed, and there's route lines, and even more interestingly enough, if you look really closely, there are corporations surrounding it or in charge of certain areas. Now this is something that I could definitely see coming into the game in the very near future. We know that there are a ton of different corporations involved with Super Earth. Ministry of Humanity, Ministry of Prosperity, Ministry of Expansion, Defense, Truth, Intelligence, and Unity, but all of them are actually backed by corporations, as you can see there. And it seems that it goes even more in depth, as the corporations from the dev artwork, once again from Lucas, shows that HLS, for instance, gives us our own types of firearms with a pump shotgun, railgun, and HMG. So this is something that I do think is going to come very near in the future, because they just put a ton of work onto it in multiple different areas. and it seems like they're definitely going to lean more into the Super Earth later on in upcoming seasons. This was originally going to be the Pelican 2 evac ship, and it's much more helicopter-like, but when you look at the animations, you'll notice that the cockpit actually opens up. We do know from Iron Sights that there was new files found about a flying vehicle camera angle thing, which does seem to be coming in the near future. So I wonder if this got scrapped for the Pelican for regular evac, but the flying vehicle, when it comes in, this could be repurposed for that. There was actually a dev stream the other day for the game, and there was an interesting image actually pulled from it, and you can see the warp gate from the Illuminate actually there in the background. This does seem to imply that the Illuminate are going to be getting an upgrade pretty soon, and Arrowhead might have been teasing it just a little bit. We know from data mine files that the warp gate is going to be a big function of them, and it's probably going to bring in brand new enemy types, 5-player squads, more teamwork, right? More firepower, and more accidental friendly fire. I could only imagine 5 portable hell bombs all going off. That would have actually been pretty fun. Well, it turns out the devs thought it sounded a little too great. They said, with 5 players, the entire tactical balance of the game fell apart. Imagine having a full squad where one guy's only job is to constantly spam orbital strikes while the rest of the team dodges for dear life. Even worse, 5 players meant every stratagem could be covered, removing all those tough do we bring ammo or airstrike decisions. Basically, it turned Helldivers into a walking arsenal of democracy, and let's be honest, way too overpowered. So Arrowhead decided to scrap it, but could it return, maybe as a special mode? The other interesting one they talked about is, well, low gravity planets. Imagine bouncing around like a majestic space marine dodging incoming fire like some kind of intergalactic ballerina, or, well, you know, Master Chief. It sounds amazing until you realize how quickly it would turn into a total disaster. They said, first, jetpacks would have to be completely reworked. Second, enemy AI would have to learn how to fight in floaty chaos. And third, let's be real, every single Helldiver, including you, would immediately try to launch themselves into orbit just to see what happens. We already do that anyways. It's not a question of if, it's a question of how high can I go before the game engine gives up. So yeah, low gravity battles got the boot, but if the devs ever decide to bring it back, I fully expect a Lost in Space achievement for every Helldiver that manages to eject themselves into the void, and maybe even do some falling emotes. Now, the most interesting one I found is something that actually might not be scrapped at all, just reworked completely different. They did talk about helmets. Originally, helmets were supposed to have actual gameplay effects. Maybe some gave extra armor, some help you see better, and my personal request, one that makes you immune to friendly fire. Please stop killing me in the game. You know, for all those oops, wrong button moments. But it turns out that adding helmet perks would have meant even more balancing problems. Plus, the devs had to actually finish the game at some point. You know, Sony wanted to see something. So instead of being tactical advantages, helmets are just, well, right now, fashion statement. Now, going back to that Super Earth conscript, there is some additional information outside of just the devs showing the artwork for it. Ironsights let us know that the Hellbot still needs her systems reworked, but this is what it looks like when she's alongside you in missions. A lot of people have mentioned it recently, so I wanted to post a little screenshot, and it does appear you can actually get it in the game now, or at least that it's in the files and still being worked on, which is pretty interesting. This makes a lot of sense. When we got the Siege Troopers for the mega cities, it was finally showing that the AI could actually work in this game and go ahead and follow you and work with you. So now that that has been successful, I actually think the Hellbot is probably going to be the next thing that comes in. Let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on, well, future content and some stuff that may be cut or still coming to the game. Also, don't forget to check out this video right here where I do a bunch of outdoor adventures, and until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading managed democracy.